Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be playing as Germany and we're going to be forming the German Colonial Empire. So honestly, this is like we can call this like a part 2 or something to my first German Empire video. Did that a while ago and I would have loved to continue from the same gameplay, but then unfortunately because of the scenario, some parts of Africa that were needed for the colonization were not available because it was like wasteland. So yeah, I decided to just go with the modern day and do it again. And so the first thing I did, as you normally do as Germany, is invade Poland. Now, of course, I think it's like mandatory that like Germany invades Poland or something in these, because I mean, come on, let's be real. Um, it's happened multiple times in both nations. No, in Poland's history, really. But uh, I mean, okay, wait. There's all the partitions. There's the Teutonic Knights invading Poland and battling them. There's the yeah, no, there's a lot of times. So I think it's honestly like mandatory, if you're forming any type of German empire, unrelated or not, like whether it's even a part of the territories or not, I think it's like mandatory, like a mandatory German thing. They have to conquer Poland. And I as I was finishing up the conquest, I looked over in the territories and I realized it's gonna be a little bit difficult to see. So I decided to change the color of Germany. I was gonna go with the light blue, but that looked horrible. And then I just decided, you know what, screw this. I'm just gonna go with like the gray. I mean, this is the color of the Imperial Germany in this game either way, but I realized, the gray would be much more easier to see. So finally, I finished conquering Poland, and of course, I wanted to, get the borders right. The game didn't let me take everything, but like absolutely everything. But instead, I was left with 14 points to do whatever the hell I wanted, and I just decided to like take a few provinces. I mean, I wanted to take Warsaw, but at the same time, I wanted to use all the points properly. And so I thought about, what I was gonna do, but then I just decided to leave it at that. I didn't want any border gore, and I didn't want a useless puppet state either. So I just left it at that. I let Poland remain as it is. So after that, I spent the next couple of turns just assimilating all the new territories. Of course, I mean that is a pretty big pickup from the start itself. So I'm already set like to become a world power. I think I'm already like uh, I'm already in the top 10 though, because of that conquest. And so what I did was now I start my adventure into Africa, where my first attack is of course Togo. And what I do is I look around and I notice Benin is there, and I just threaten Benin for military access, which they very readily accept because they don't want to die. And then I invade Togo from the north, which I mean I don't know, that seems pretty weird, but like it's the better way to do it because if you attack their fortress directly, it's not gonna it's gonna lose more people. And then I decided to go with Namibia, see if I could just annex the whole thing, considering they only have 9,000 factories. They denied me, but I really don't care. I just invade them regardless. And so this invasion went pretty easily as well. They kind of just exhausted everything they had in like the first 2 seconds of the invasion, and so the rest of it was just walking through the territory. And after that, I just sort of brought my troops back and disbanded them because honestly, I wasn't really invading anything else with that army. So now I was left with two new African possessions. Next up would be Cameroon, which of course I need to. I still needed a bit more money than that because Cameroon was not gonna be as easy as a walkover as say, Namibia or Togo. So I decided to assemble a huge army in the conquered Polish territories that I got, and this time the army was around 33,000. So of course I knew I was gonna do good with this one. And Cameroon's actually conquered Chad, but I mean, honestly, what is that gonna do? I then threatened Equatorial Guinea for military access. Again, it's really dumb attacking navally when you can just gain military access to a nearby country and then just attack the country directly on land. Because again, like especially for like stronger nations, you realize that like there's the whole defender's buff when it comes to a naval attack. So you got to keep that in mind. But anyways, I invade Cameroon and I take over everything that I need to. I could have continued on and liberated their provinces in Chad, but I decided not to because why not? I mean, why do that? Then I just decided to annex the Central African Republic, the territories that I needed there. And when the Republic of the Congo didn't give me their territories, oh well, you best bet you know what you best you best bet you know what I did. Wait, is that how the saying goes? Whatever. I just took the one province and left. I didn't want to get I didn't want to do all the extra stuff of just conquering the whole country. And of course, Gabon, after seeing me absolutely decimate their neighbor, they pieced out as well. And so afterwards, I had a plan where I'd invade through the Democratic Republic of the Congo, right? I gained military access and I'd invade Rwanda through them. And that was my plan. But all of a sudden, Russia and Lithuania, of all coalitions, attack me. Now, of course, I go into panic mode because I know I'm not surviving this. And the first thing I do is I get all the nations around Russia to just gang up on them while my troops in Kinshasa rush back all the way to Kiel, right? Or actually not Kiel, but like back to Germany. Because now the Russians have a absolute free hand in just taking whatever they want. And at some point I fear that they're going to reach Berlin too. Now my troops are here. My troops do arrive on time, but they and plus they are, as you can see in the screen, they are right on the gates of Berlin. But but I'm determined to not let Berlin fall. Like everything else to the east of it, yeah, no, that can all fall. But like Berlin, nah, because that's the capital, man. Like that can't fall. So at some point when my troops arrive, I realize I'm gonna have to take the long, arduous process of now pushing back the Lithuanian and Russian menace, as if I can call it. Yeah, just that the Lithuanian and Russian menace. And I kind of recruited Poland to fight for me. And the dumb thing is that Belarus invaded Poland, so I don't even know. Like, Poland helped me, and then they're dying, and I didn't even bother helping Poland because well, I can't be bothered with all that. So soon enough, I basically invaded Lithuania completely, and of course took the Kaliningrad from Russia. And I realized that this war kind of just let me steal Kaliningrad really easily, and the other province that I needed from Lithuania. And once I did, I decided that instead of just, releasing Lithuania again, I decided to release the Livonian Order. Why? I don't know. I just need a puppet state here that won't rebel on me. And it's not specifically like the Livonian Order or anything. All you need is just a puppet state that's not pre-existing, and then they're usually very loyal to you. I mean, the reason is because okay, I should probably go into this in a different video, but yeah, no, they're usually more loyal to you. So like the Livonian Order won't like rebel against me. So after all that, I decide to, since I'm in immense debt. In fact, the dumb thing is that it wasn't even my army size that like caused the debt. It was just the travel, the what? Travel? No, the travel across the ocean. That's what caused the debt, guys. But after a while, I just decided to puppet Rwanda as well because why not? And my plan was to annex them later because, again, puppeting and annexing nations is so much more easier. And of course, as I was about to move on to explore the East Indies, I was attacked by the Central African Republic and Poland. I mean, have you guys ever seen a stronger military alliance than that? I mean, yeah, it's amazing. They both backed away as soon as I asked them to, though. So that was good. But finally, I made back the money, and right when I did, Belarus attacks me. And at this point, I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm not even gonna peace out immediately, but I actually tried to, and luckily the Belarusians worked out because I actually started moving my troops, and I was like ready to fight. But then I made a shocking discovery: Indonesia had taken over Papua New Guinea, and that was a problem because now I had to fight Indonesia. And so, I mean, Papua New Guinea would have been incredibly easy to just, fight, take over. That would have been all so easy. But no, no, the game just had to throw that at me. Like now I had to fight Indonesia of all nations. So I knew that this wasn't gonna be an easy one, and I just sort of continued with trying to control, like take control of Africa. And Rwanda, that's the thing, right? Rwanda actually like rebelled from me. But just before I pressed the button to let them rebel, I what do you call sorry, excuse me. But what I did was I basically just puppeted them right again, so they're right back to being my vassal, even though making a big show about it. So, like, genuinely, I wonder what it would be like if Age of Civilizations 2 was real, and like if there's these like I'm just saying like the stuff that you can just do in this game. Like I just imagine like an actual boardroom, not boardroom, but like a war room where just talking about like the diplomacy in this game is weird. You can pay a country 100 coins and they'll go to war for you. You can pay them absolutely nothing and they'll go to war for you. So I just wonder like how does that go? Like the diplomatic like meetings. I don't know. Anyways, I started attacking Tanzania. Of course, I used Kenya, right? Again, the best thing is that you don't waste troops in a costly naval attack. That is not a good idea. And so, of course, it started out going fine. Most of Tanzania's troops were, I think, nearby Rwanda, actually. So, because of that, it was going well initially. But as you can see, over in the north or northwest, yeah, northwest of the country, they were inflicting heavy losses, and like meanwhile in the south, I was expanding like really easily. So I kept having to shift troops north, and like my lines were relatively thin, okay, as compared to the south. But what I did was I sent my troops south to capture all the territory and then swing around to come back and then join the north in the final advance into Uganda, actually. The Ugandan territories of Rwanda. The Ugandan territory of Tanzania. Because I just want to conquer the whole thing. And then, of course, while I was at it, I just annexed Rwanda right there. Because, I mean, what else can I do? And of course, later I realized Tanzania had absolutely no ports, and so I had to threaten Mozambique with military access and then use their port instead, because that's obviously what is obviously the best course of action. And afterwards, oh yeah, and while I was doing that, Malawi attacks me for some reason. They make peace, but they took one Tanzanian province, and I had to take that back. And just like that, we took over all of Tanzania. And of course, I released Uganda because, I mean, I didn't need it, so it was fine. I probably could have just kept it till the end of the video and then, like, release them at the very end like I do with some of my conquests. But, of course, I just decided to do it right now. It doesn't really matter. And so I disbanded most of my forces in Tanzania, because I wanted to save money, or more accurately, get back the money. But then, all of a sudden, Zambia attacks me. And of course, I try to peace out. I'm thinking, oh, they'll peace out like all the other nations that attacked me. And of course, India, for some reason, is in a coalition with them. So I get Pakistan and China to attack India because I don't want to deal with all that. Because trust me, Zambia, fine, but India, no thank you. But then I realized Zambia is really not looking for peace. Like, peace is not an option for Zambia. So what I do instead is I decided to play a little nice little game, okay? What I do is I stop recruiting in Tanzania, or at least I don't recruit there. And I mainly just focus on holding a few provinces. And I mainly recruit in this thing, Namibia, okay? And what I do there is once my army is ready in Namibia, I start attacking into like Zambia from the rear. Like, even though they started this war advancing on two fronts, they sort of just forgot about the fact that this was a two-front war, and they completely left their country undefended as they went to claim the greater prize of Tanzania. So in a sense, it was a territorial exchange, like a country for a country, or at least a colony. I don't know. I guess we could say colony. But yeah, and soon enough, I was able to take over literally all of Zambia, but they did take back two provinces. So what did I do? Well, I proceeded to perform the most unequal peace treaty of all time. And what I did was I just claimed everything. That's it. I just claimed absolutely everything from Zambia. And the AI, being the AI, decided that this was okay, and I got a peace deal over Zambia. And so now I just had all this territory with me. And, I was thinking, like, maybe I should release them at some point. But then I decided, nah, we'll keep them. We'll keep them, teach them a lesson and all that. So yeah, after all that, I just, I was long overdue on assimilating all this, but I finally did. And so I disbanded my troops. I didn't need them anymore. And of course, I tried to make peace with India, but India disagreed. They thought they could handle it, or they didn't hear any bell, I guess, if you want to put it like that. And I just decided that okay, well, now's the time to just seize some islands, because I mean, yeah, might as well do this while I'm waiting. And of course, my first target was like Micronesia, but then I realized I had no army, so I just raised a quick army. Like I quickly raised an army in Cameroon to annex these islands. Because I mean, let's be real, these islands will, like, you can have an army of 100 people, and these islands will obey you because they're just that weak. And of course, I first annexed Micronesia, then Palau, then Guam. I mean, listen, I'm sure you guys would have liked to see me do a bunch of naval invasions and like island conquests. But at the same time, at this point, I just wanted to save time. Like this recording's already long enough. I can just save time here. And so I then annexed Nauru. No, sorry, not Nauru. The Marshall Islands, I believe. Yeah, Marshall Islands. Then I took a minute to search for Nauru and then found him and annexed him. So that finished all my island annexations in the Pacific, and now all I was left with was Indonesia and the territory from France. And funny enough, France was actually stronger than Indonesia at this point, because they had been conquering the nearby countries. So now I decided to raise my army in, like, firstly raise money, but like mainly raise my army. And of course, I decided to annex Zambia too, because I just want to finish that off. And I decided, now that I had all this territory, I could just release it, but I didn't know what to release it as. And I thought about it for a bit, and then just decided to release the Zambian, like, government itself. I mean, I know I normally don't do that, but I couldn't really think of anything to replace them with, so I just left it like that. And meanwhile, now that they were gone, I continued to raise money because I really wanted to make sure this invasion was going to go good. And of course, my target was Indonesia. And so Cameroon, basically, I just recruited the absolute shit out of Cameroon. Like, I mean, listen, I'm doing it accurate, okay? I'm doing it how the colonial powers did it. Like, as the colonial power saying of the 1900s goes, um, use your colonial subjects as human. What is it? Use your colonial subjects as worthless soldiers to throw at enemy lines so that you can fight your wars. Yep, that's the colonial tagline right there, guys. You can quote me on that. Exactly what they did with. Well, that's exactly what they did with Africans, actually. Like the whole. I mean, if we take into account the whole African theater of World War One, that's basically what they did. So yeah, and so soon enough. Okay, back to the video though. Sorry, I took everything that I needed, right? And I was ready to peace out with Indonesia, stop the war and just leave it to be. But no, Indonesia disagreed. They said no. So I decided, okay, fine. Full island of New Guinea is gonna go to me. And then right after that, I decided to now start naval invading Indonesia, the rest of Indonesia, because I was weirded out. Right, I was filled with this boldness because I was basically able to conquer all of New Guinea because without meeting the Indonesian army, and I was confused as to where they were because they weren't even in another war at the time, right? And so now I just started like quick invasions of Borneo, of I don't know the other island names. I'm sorry, but I started quick invasions of the islands, right? And soon enough, some troops were even landing on. Okay, that does not count as Java. Java's the big one, but like the islands leading up to Java, right? And I'm gonna just count them as one island here because in this game they're all connected by, like, the same province. So, like, as in the provinces are connected by land, so it's fine. So you know how I was wondering where the Indonesian army was? Well, there was the Indonesian army. 48,000 people just right there ready to naval invade. And that made me almost want to make a peace deal. But then the Indonesians still said no. I tried just for the territory that they, that I took from them. And I tried for to just release Papua New Guinea, but no, they said no. So you know what I did instead? I decided to be a bitch, and I basically, I instead of telling my soldiers to turn back and fight the Indonesian army, instead I just sent I sent them running in the opposite direction to keep taking Indonesian territory, but at the same time not die. And so because of that, they couldn't catch me. And what my intention was to carry all the way onto Jakarta to finally make them stop with their attacks. And since I knew the entirety of the Indonesian army was chasing my army down in Jakarta, I decided to attack Sumatra while they were distracted like that. And now I was taking even more territory from them. Basically, I was using the fact that their islands are the fact that they have many islands against them. And then also for the island of Jakarta, my main plan was to eventually take the capital. Wait, no, the capital is Jakarta. What's this island's name? Is that? Wait. Wait. Have I been calling it Jakarta? Oh, okay, never mind. I forgot the name of the. My bad, guys. Okay, no, but as I was saying, my plan was to seize their capital, which I did, right? But then my plan was to use those troops, and since I knew they had a numerical advantage, the best strategy for me would be to hold up in their capital, and basically use their own fortifications against them. And that's exactly what I did. Soon enough, the entire island was taken back from me by the Indonesians, and then my rush became the next rush for me became sending the troops on Sumatra to Jakarta as quickly as I could, because I knew that Jakarta was where the fight was gonna be. The fight as in like that's where the main meat grinder was gonna be in this war. And so I started moving all of my troops to reinforce that to reinforce the city. And soon enough, I'd taken all of Sumatra, and I even managed to take out a huge naval army in the ocean. And then, only then, did the Indonesians finally surrender to all my constant attacks. I mean, and plus the peace deal wasn't even that generous, wasn't as generous as it was before, because now I had so much more territory. And what I did with this new territory that I did not need is I just decided to I thought about what to release, right? I wanted to release Majapahit, but I couldn't find them. So instead, I just released Indonesia, the a democratic one. But the actual Indonesia in the game is like a republic, so it's kind of, yeah, it's kind of confusing. But I decided to just release this government like in Borneo, and then like give it all the other islands, everything till Papua New Guinea, absolutely everything to Papua New Guinea. And then I decided to also release Papua New Guinea, but like in the south of the island. So now I only had what I needed, and then I'm two new puppets in the East Indies, right? And now I had to wait until my massive debt from this huge war finally ended. And also I changed the color of my Indonesia to differentiate from it. But anyways, point being, I had to just wait until my huge debt just like disappeared. It took a while. And I watched Ukraine just absolutely become an empire right there, while I was at it, recovering economically. And also I realized that a lot of Europe hates me. So maybe I really am the German Empire. But anyways, now all that was left was one opponent, and that was France, the age-old enemy of Germany ever since it was created. I mean, actually no, even before it was created. I mean, the Franco-Prussian War, Germany didn't even technically exist. But I waited till I had 500,000 coins because I really wanted to secure, ensure my victory. And so I max recruited the entirety of the front line between me and France. And by the way, that front line was way bigger than it normally is because they'd taken over Belgium, the Netherlands, and Switzerland. Like everything besides Luxembourg, actually. That's the funny thing. Luxembourg just survives because they're just that nice, I guess. Maybe they asked politely for France not to kill them. Probably that's what happened. But I started advances on every single province, and surprisingly, I was able to make good progress. I think the thing was that like I realized France focused most of their troops on one province, which was like towards the like Maginot Line, right? As we, I guess the AI is following historical precedent after all, and so they focused most of their defense there. And I tried to just make peace right now and see how it worked, but of course it didn't, right? I think no, but I think I turned back from that peace deal because I wanted more, because I wanted to try something, because I thought maybe we could weaken France even more. Because I mean, if listen, if you're the Germans and you're invading France, you can't not weaken France for like generations to come. Like you can't not do that. So what I wanted to do was release Switzerland and Ireland as nations just to spite France, because I am the German Empire. That is what I must do. It's my solemn duty as the German, like it would be my solemn duty as Germany to do something like that. And France actually tried very hard, and they nearly knocked a hole in my lines, which luckily though I was able to release Switzerland and Ireland, and so now I finally formed the German Empire. See you guys in the next one. Bye bye.